Hey, I am back from a crazy weekend in Vegas. I was there for the Lovers and Friends Festival and it did not disappoint. We arrived the day before and I met up with some good friends of mine Friday night, even got to meet some fellow TikTokers who I followed for a long time but had never met before. We all went to this bar in the Palazzo and they were playing all the old school hits, so we had such a good time. Anyway, we stayed at the Hilton Grand Vacations Club because it's literally right next to the fairgrounds and it was pretty cool to be able to watch the festival being set up. We even caught some of the artist sound checks, and the morning of, it was fun to watch all the people heading in. If you saw my last YouTube video, you know I was well prepared, had the lineup all typed up with the times and stages, so we were ready to go. We got really lucky weather-wise. I think it was like a high of 75 degrees. It was overcast, a little bit breezy, so the weather really worked out for us this year. My group and I got there around 12:30, went through security, got some cool photos in, and then we found our spots in the VIP section in front of the Lovers and Friends stage just in time to see the group Next perform. They did all our favorites. Too Close, Wifey, But I Love. It was great. Next up was Da Brat. I love her. I have always been a huge fan of hers, so I didn't even care that she was up there wearing some crazy ass jersey. Like, she got a lot of hate on social media for it, but like, you go, girl. 49 years old, pregnant, and you up there doing your thing. Like, her wife was up there supporting her too. She killed it and ended her set with our favorite Functified. I was so happy. Next up was Omarion. He was on the other side of the Lovers and Friends stage, further away from us, so I didn't really get to see him up close, but you know, he was okay. I'm not familiar with all of his songs, but he was up there dancing an Icebox with his backup dancers. And then for a while, his brother was up there DJing for a little bit, but I personally didn't recognize any of the songs his brother was playing. So to be honest, I wasn't really feeling it. And next came one of my favorites, Boyz II Men. They opened with Motown Philly and man, they came out with so much energy. They got the crowd so hyped up. It was just a really beautiful moment. Wanya was out there hitting all the moves and you could tell all three of them were just having a blast. I mean, I think I even saw Nate give us a little smile. So they then went on to do their classic ballads on Bended Knee, Water Runs Dry, End of the Road, and they concluded their set with I'll Make Love to You while throwing out beautiful red roses to the ladies in the crowd, and we were all feeling it and having a good ass time. Next up was Lil' Kim. We missed most of her show, unfortunately, because she was on the other side of the stage, so we were trying to walk over to that side, but it just took forever because there were so many people, and then by the time we got there, we realized the VIP section on that side was messed up for some reason, and I was starting to get claustrophobic in that crowd, so we hung around for a little bit, but then ended up leaving that stage. I would say she's not the best performer live and not the most entertaining, but it was still fun to hear her songs. She's got some good ones, so we were all still out there dancing, having a good time. We then made our way to the Bling and Crunk stages on the other side of the fairgrounds. Petey Pablo was there when we arrived. He was okay. It was just him on the stage, and truthfully, I was more entertained by his ASL interpreter than by him. Like, she was putting way more effort into getting us hyped, and she was dancing and doing all the cool facial expressions, and I think we were all cheering more for her than for Petey Pablo. Next was Busta Rhymes. That man just really enjoys what he does. I mean, he was up there smiling the whole time, and it just made me love him even more than I already do. Sadly, the stage he was on was having mic issues the entire day, so his mic wasn't working for like half of his set, and he kept having to scream, "Turn my mic up!" And it was frustrating for all of us. We're all there because we want to watch him hit those legendary runs and verses live, you know? But as frustrating as it was, he never stopped smiling and he killed it during the times that his mic was actually working. He even got emotional at the end of his set, thanking all of his fans, and it was really sweet. Pitbull and Jagged Edge were on at the same time, but on different stages, so that was a really tough one for me. I decided on Jagged Edge because, you know, I'm such an R&B girl, and I grew up listening the hell out of their albums, but I heard that Pitbull put on quite a show, and a lot of people I ran into said he was one of, if not the best set of the festival. He was apparently very entertaining, his dancers were phenomenal, and he was definitely a crowd favorite. So if you get a chance to see him live, I would definitely recommend. So I went to see Jagged Edge. You could tell they really put some effort into their set with their choreography and matching outfits. It gave like a cool old school vibe because I feel like these days groups just don't do like synchronized choreographed dancing. It was really cute and they sounded great, and I'm still glad I chose to see them. Nori was next. He was the opposite of Jagged Edge. He seemed to have just basically showed up, no planning. He had his whole damn family up there on the stage, and he did a lot of that, like letting the crowd sing, which I don't mind once in a while, but he was doing it over and over. And for me personally, that gets old, and I found myself not really interested in the show, although I do love his music. We traveled back over to the Lovers and Friends stage after that to see Nelly. He tends to kind of scream into his mic, but it was still enjoyable. I mean, it's hard not to like his set because it's like banger after banger after banger. He has so many huge mainstream hits that I feel like people who aren't even really into hip hop know his songs. He brought Jermaine Dupri out for a little bit, which made my day because I love JD. JD and Da Brat will like always be my favorites, hands down. We had found a pretty good spot in the VIP section, so we decided to just stay there until the end of the festival. And so this meant that we missed Blackstreet, En Vogue, Soulja Boy, JoJo, Master P, Genuine, T.I., Sean Paul, Florida, and Eve. We missed them all because they were on the other stages. It killed me. I mean, I missed Genuine's infamous fall. Like... Anyway, next up was Miguel. I know a lot of you guys love him, and I do too. And I know a lot of people did like his set, but I personally could not really get into it. He remixed a lot of his songs so they didn't sound like what plays on the radio. And he was so deep into the music that it almost made him not able to connect with the audience, if that makes sense. In hindsight, I wish I had skipped him and instead saw En Vogue and Soulja Boy and JoJo, who were on at the same time as him. I heard En Vogue and Soulja Boy had really great shows. Soulja Boy was one of the big surprises of the night. I think people weren't expecting much from him, but he apparently brought really great energy, and even days after the festival, people were still talking about him. JoJo, I heard, was good, but unfortunately, she was on the same stage as Busta Rhymes, so again, there were mic issues and her set was super delayed, and I heard she ended up only having like 10 minutes on stage, which is super sad. After Miguel was Chris Brown. I'm not a huge fan of Chris Brown, but I stuck around to see him mainly out of curiosity because I just wanted to understand the hype about him. I know some of his songs, but I stopped listening to new music after like 2009, so I didn't know a majority of the songs he did. But I will say that he is undeniably a phenomenal performer. For me, he was the opposite of Miguel. I found myself completely captivated by Chris, and he had my attention the entire time, even though I didn't even know the songs. He's just very fun to watch, so I get it. Next up, 50 Cent. As expected, he gave a solid show from beginning to end. He's another one of those artists where every song is a huge hit, so it's like guaranteed to be a good time. He was joking around about how he's getting old and getting sick of doing In the Club because he's done it so many times, but of course he still did it for us and it was still amazing. Next was Usher. He killed it as always. I mean, you know Usher. He's fantastic. He's sweating the whole damn time, but he's still looking fine. He brought out Jermaine Dupri and Da Brat, who did Welcome to Atlanta and Money Ain't a Thing together, and I literally burst into tears from happiness. I think it was during Usher's set that I lost my voice. I just love Usher. I really need to go see his residency in Vegas. All right, next, Christina Aguilera. Y'all, I cannot put into words how blown away I was by Christina. I don't know what I was expecting, but she was out there sounding better live than in her recordings. She was hands down the biggest surprise of the night for me. My jaw was on the floor during her entire performance. It was so entertaining. She brought out Redman when she performed Dirty, and then she did her ballad Beautiful, which was just so beautifully sung. And then she started Lady Marmalade and brought out Lil' Kim, and they freaking did their thing up there together, and I just about died. Christina's voice was so clean and crisp, and she was able to hit those classic Christina runs effortlessly. Next was the long-awaited Mariah Carey. Let me tell you, up to this point, the festival was running smoothly. Every artist was on time and ready to go. And then, of course, in true Mariah fashion, she made us wait 45 minutes to see her. Honestly, though, I set the bar so low for her that I was just happy she showed up. She started with Vision of Love, then did Fantasy, then Heartbreaker, and then my favorite part, she brought out Boyz II Men, and they did One Sweet Day together. I got so emotional seeing all of them on stage, singing one of my favorite songs together. Then she brought out Miguel to do Beautiful together, which was amazing as well. She then did Emotions and finished with We Belong Together. So she did actually sing live, although there definitely were vocal tracks playing as well. Her voice definitely is not the same as it used to be, but she was still hitting those whistles just fine. She seemed kind of stiff and uncomfortable up on stage. She barely moved. I think because she was wearing those high platform heels and maybe she was afraid of falling. I almost felt like she was nervous up there. I wish she had been more relaxed and walking around, enjoying the moment. I mean, we all love her. But anyway, I still feel very lucky that I was able to see Mariah Carey live, especially since she rarely performs live these days. Was kind of wishing she would do a Christmas song, but I'll take what I can get. Last but not least, Missy Elliott, the headliner of the show, the best part of the whole damn festival. She started out with a crazy video on the screen of like an alien Missy Elliott taking you to outer space to be prepared to get your freak on and hold on to the person next to you in case you lose control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it went to throw it back, and the whole place went absolutely insane. She did all our favorites: Work It, Gossip Folks, Hot Boys, Pass That Dutch, 1 Minute Man, The Rain, Sock It To Me. I mean, the energy there was off the charts. I loved all her outfit changes, and I love that she even spent time to come over to our side of the stage and give us some love. You could tell she was enjoying every second, just taking it all in, really enjoying the moment. She was smiling the entire time, which made us smile too. Similar to her famous music videos, the graphics on the screen were wild. The dancers had some crazy ass costumes. The dance moves were sick. You could tell every detail of the show was well thought out. I mean, I really did feel like I was on a different planet, just feeling the music and vibing with everyone around me. She ended with Lose Control, and it was a perfect way to end the night. I was so tired, but I was so happy. This festival was definitely rough on my 39-year-old body. My claustrophobia got me a couple times in that crowd too, but I put a ton of clips from this festival in the highlights section of my Instagram story, so if you want to see more, go check them out there. Bye!